On a cold March dawn, in October 1314, the last Grand Master of the Knights Templar stood before Notre Dame, bound in chains. He did not weep. He did not beg. As flames danced around his feet, Jacques de Molay cursed the Pope and the King, vowing they would join him in death within the year. 2 months later, the Pope was dead. By the end of the year, so was the King. Was it vengeance? Or something older, something darker? This is not just the story of a warrior order. It is the tale of a rise so meteoric it frightened kings, of riches beyond imagination, of betrayal, of secrets that were buried for 700 years, and whispers of a lost treasure that still haunts the world today. This is the story of the Knights Templar. Their journey begins in the blood-soaked sands of Jerusalem. The year is 1119. Jerusalem is a city divided between blood and belief. The Crusader states stand fragile, newly carved from Saracen lands. Pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land are ambushed, robbed, and butchered. So, 9 knights, just 9, take a vow. Not of wealth, not of land, but of protection. Protection to these pilgrims. And that is how the Knights Templar came into being. Led by Hugues de Payens, the Knights Templar swore oaths of poverty, chastity, and obedience. They called themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon, because they based themselves in the ruins of that temple. Poor knights. No lands, no titles, just a mission. But within decades, the Knights Templar transformed into one of the wealthiest and most powerful organizations in Europe. They were endorsed by Bernard of Clairvaux, connected to the Cistercians, and eventually blessed by the Pope himself. With one decree, they were elevated above kings. Their lands were untouchable, their secrets impenetrable. But how did these men with no money or army become Europe's wealthiest power brokers? That's where the story darkens. Within decades, the Templars spread across Europe. Their white mantle became a symbol of divine fear. Nobles flooded them with donations, gold, estates, entire castles. But they weren't just warriors. They became the world's first multinational banking network. They created letters of credit, allowing pilgrims to deposit money in one city and withdraw it in Jerusalem. They guarded half the French treasury in their Paris temple. Their ledgers, encrypted and secret, contained names of kings, debts of empires. Popes entrusted them to collect crusading taxes across Europe and carrying fortunes across war-torn lands. Imagine armored Brinks trucks moving through deserts and mountains into Egypt itself during the Fifth Crusade. This was a logistical miracle, but also a dangerous game. Because beneath this financial empire was a deeper layer of hidden knowledge. Some whisper of ancient scrolls hidden beneath the Temple Mount, of ties to pre-Christian mysteries, of knowledge passed down from Egypt, Babylon, even Atlantis. But ancient secrets carry ancient curses, and the Templars weren't the only holy warriors in the game. The Knights Hospitaller, their sworn brethren, envied their influence. The Teutonic Knights, fierce and disciplined, sought the same favor in Eastern Europe. Political intrigue brewed in royal courts, as popes began to question whether one order should wield such unchecked power. Jealousy grew, especially after 1187, the fall of Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, the very cradle of the Templar order, was a devastating blow. Their failure to protect it stained their sacred mission. It was more than a military defeat. It was a wound to their soul. The holy city they had sworn to defend was lost, and with it, the very heart of their divine purpose. And then there were other whispers of secret rituals, of inner circles within the ranks of Templars. Accusations swirled of idol worship, spitting on the cross, obscene rites. Behind closed doors, they were not all equals. Only a few were ever invited into the Brotherhood's deepest rites. The initiations were whispered, never written, only passed down in dim halls under vows of eternal silence. It is said that an initiate would be brought into the chamber blindfolded, made to renounce all worldly ties. He'd be told of brothers who had vanished, perhaps even died, for breaking these vows. Then the ceremony began. He might be asked to kiss the master on the base of the spine, or even on the lips. A symbol they claimed, of humility and submission. He'd be shown a skull, perhaps even named as Baphomet, and asked to venerate it. Was it ritual? Or blasphemy? No records survive. No eyewitness accounts. Only fragments, pulled centuries later from confessions taken under torture. Did they really happen? Or were they planted to destroy a brotherhood that had simply grown too powerful? Legends also suggest that the Templars guarded the Ark of the Covenant. Or perhaps the Holy Grail. Maybe even Jesus' burial shroud. Stories abound that they possessed the cup of the Last Supper, passed from temple to temple, hidden in caves, carried across oceans. And then there's the feminine, an idea not often linked to warrior orders. Yet, there is speculation that the Templars honored Sophia. Divine wisdom, hidden in plain sight. Symbols in cathedrals. Encoded manuscripts. The Black Madonna. They may have preserved ancient feminine spirituality, buried beneath the dogmas of Rome. So, while the secrecy protected the order, it also made the church fearful of what it could not see. And one king, desperate enough to use those fears as fuel. King Philip, the Fair of France, ambitious, bankrupt, and threatened, he had expelled the Jews in 1306, seizing their assets. But it wasn't enough. He needed more gold. And he needed a scapegoat. In the Templars, he saw the perfect opportunity. Land rich, cash rich, and just unpopular enough. And, on Friday, October the 13th, 1307, a date forever cursed, he unleashed the storm. Across France, knights were arrested at dawn. Tortured. Burned. Confessions extracted in agony. The entire brotherhood, destroyed. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, executed. His final words cursed Philip and Pope Clement V. And within a year, both were dead. Coincidence? Or divine retribution? But, what of the treasures? The secrets? Not a coin was found in the Paris temple. They vanished. Just like the order itself. Just days before the arrests, Templar wagons were seen leaving the temple in Paris. Heavy. Secretive. Bound for nowhere. The Templar fleet also disappeared from La Rochelle. Entire ships vanished. No wrecks. No manifests. Just silence. Some say they reached Scotland. Others, America. There are even legends of a treasure buried beneath Rosslyn Chapel. Or hidden deep in Portuguese cathedrals. But nothing has been proven till date. The Templars were never officially condemned by the Church. Only disbanded. Some joined the Knights Hospitaller. Others vanished into secret societies. The Freemasons. The Rosicrucians. Their symbols, their codes, their law, lives on. Even the founding myths of the United States echo Templar influence. Conspiracy or legacy. Either way, the Templar ghost remains. And refuses to rest. In 2007, after 700 years, the Vatican quietly released the Chinan parchment. Proof that Pope Clement V had absolved the Templars of their alleged crimes. They were innocent. Not heretics. Not traitors. Just pawns. In a game of thrones. And gold. The Templars were a brotherhood of fierce warriors. They were born of war. Baptized in blood. Buried in shadows. A secret order of bankers. And perhaps, keepers of secrets, lost to time. And maybe, just maybe, a treasure, still waiting beneath centuries of stone and silence. This has been History with Helena. Like, share, and subscribe if you want more stories buried in time. And remember, the past never truly dies. It just waits to be uncovered.